Let's talk about the importance of mental strength when it's about saving match points in Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell if you like this video. Having match points to save is obviously not the most pleasant situation to be in. However, it happens to everybody in Tennis Clash. Most of the times, we are not able to save those match points, and we lose, especially versus players having more experience or skills. And it is understandable because we are human beings with emotions and rational mind taking over. However, it is possible to turn those matches around and win by saving those match points, like in real life tennis. We all have won many matches during our Tennis Clash career when we had to save match points. I'm selecting for you 19 comebacks that I found interesting to analyze. So, was it pure luck or do I have some method? I would say that you need both. Luck is important, but of course, you must never lose the belief that you can win even when you are led. This is something very important that you need to keep on top of your mind. Stay positive. Having a positive mindset is really essential. I kept believing that I can come back despite the fact I was in tough situation. In human psychology, everything begins with a thought. Our thoughts create our attitude, and our attitude translates further into our actions. In those harsh moments, I was focusing on just one point at a time. I wasn't looking too far ahead. My mind was focused only on the next point. That's it. No scare of losing and no feeling of hopelessness. Just positive mind and very short-term goals. Doing baby steps is better in those situations where you have many match points to save. So focus and concentration are two of the key words that I use when analyzing the mental side of a tennis player's game. A player can't improve his mental strength if he can't stay focused and concentrate for the duration of a match, especially when it's long, like when he has to save plenty of match points. Developing focus requires a lot of self-discipline from the individual. Ensure you stay focused throughout the match. Once you have learned how to concentrate throughout a match, you will become more aware of different aspects of the game and be able to prioritize and adapt your game plan as necessary. You can be lucky too if your opponent makes some unforced errors while he had the occasion to end the match. But don't rely on luck to come back. I would say that it's just a bonus, but also a consequence of your positive mindset. Sometimes you don't even need to start playing much better. Your opponent can be overconfident that he can't lose the match now that he has plenty of match points in his favor and has many occasions to win the match, so may start to lose a bit of focus. Your opponent can then start to slowly drop his level. He can progressively lose his focus after not converting match points one after another. Not all players follow the simple rules of staying positive and playing one point at a time. It is well known that real-life tennis is as much mental as it is physical. While it is hard to precisely quantify how mental tennis is, many experts think that the sport is 80% mental and 20% physical. Achieving success as a tennis player, regardless of your level, is directly correlated with your ability to deal with the pressure of competitive tennis. Of course, in Tennis Clash, it's a mobile game, so it's different from real-life tennis. So the physical part is pretty low. There will be then the swiping speed and accuracy as well as the mental strength. For Tennis Clash, I would say that the swipe speed and accuracy count for 60% of the success and 40% come from the mental strength. Of course, having a special string can definitely help to improve your accuracy, and that should be taken into account in the 60% too. In mental strength, I mean staying mentally tough and having a good strategy in which you believe to win the matches. The first opponent we face when we have match points to save is ourselves. How we respond to the pressure and stress generated by match points will impact our results. Tennis Clash top players who have very high win ratio do so because they are mentally strong and are able to overcome the mental challenges that come in the game, even versus other top players in Tour 8, for instance. In my opinion, players who are mentally tough are much more likely to succeed than players who swipe very well, so hit nice strokes, but are not very good in handling the pressure whenever their opponent responds. The physical part in Tennis Clash is still important, of course. Practicing regularly, knowing how to swipe fast and accurately is imperative for improving as a Tennis Clash player. The regular practice is especially important when you are beginning in the game and learning how to properly hit every shot. However, as you reach a competitive level, you will be measuring yourself against the players who have done similar work as you. Whoever is on the other side of the court also practice their swipe heavily, so the outcome of a match is decided by who can navigate the match better. Of course, one player might have developed a better swipe method than the other, or plays on a device which is more responsive to the swipe than the other, but the difference between a mentally strong versus a mentally weak player is that mentally strong players are able to extract the maximum output out their swipe capabilities while enduring the pressures of a Tennis Clash match. You can't control the outcome of the match. Sometimes you will just be outplayed, but you can control how hard you fight for every point. As we develop our way of playing, we slowly build a tennis identity. What this means is that we all have our own unique way to play Tennis Clash. First, we typically favor one stroke over another. For example, I feel more comfortable hitting strokes with the left hand of any character over their right hand, so I love playing with left-handed characters like Victoria or Leo. Even if I train hard to swipe fast and accurately with characters' right hand too, I feel it will never be as natural as with their left hand. In addition to the swipe, there is also our style of play. Some players enjoy being aggressive and taking risks, while others love to counterpunch and so play defensively, waiting for an occasion to turn a defensive shot into an offensive one. For instance, I love attacking while playing with the high serve big forehand build using Victoria, much more than playing with the counterpuncher style using Kaito. Regardless of your preferences, we all have a tennis identity, and understanding who you are as a Tennis Clash player is the first step towards becoming a mentally strong player. By doing so, you will be able to understand your strengths and shortcomings during a match and work towards making the proper adjustments. Self-awareness is the first component of becoming a mentally strong tennis player. Let's talk a bit about the importance of pre-match planning. Preparation and planning are key to giving you a mental edge when going into a match. Having a game plan is vital. Knowing not only the strengths and weaknesses of your build, but also of your opponents, helps to highlight ways you can gain an advantage over them. It is, however, just as important to have a backup plan that you can switch to in case your game plan isn't quite working. If your plan A isn't working, it can be extremely demoralizing, resulting in a potential loss of focus. Therefore, having the ability to switch your approach and try something different gives you the opportunity to stay one step ahead. It is important to remember that it's likely your opponent will have also developed a game plan and chosen a string that works towards their strengths and aims to highlight your weaknesses. This is where mental strength becomes critical, as it is more than likely the mentally stronger player will come out on top in these crucial stages of the match. Tennis Clash is a game where players are battling on the court on their own. You don't have coach recommending you what to do between points. Your decision making is therefore vital in ensuring success and in helping you to come back. Trying to play an overly aggressive shot is an example of poor decision making that could lead to dropping an easy point. However, having the ability to manipulate the match in your favor by making the right choices at the right time can be extremely rewarding. More often than not, poor decision making will result in the loss of a point, which in turn can start to test the mental strength of a player, further emphasizing why decision making is a core element in improving a player's mental strength. Mental toughness is a hard subject because some of us are just better at it than others. However, I really think it is something we can all improve upon. In Tennis Clash, being mentally tough is all about how a player can navigate the ups and downs in all matches. A mentally strong player is self-aware of his shortcomings or of the weakness of his build, but not scared to fail because of them. They are disciplined and eager to improve despite frustrations and setbacks. In addition, they are able to accept their mistakes and continue to strive to get better. During match play, mentally strong players are able to handle pressure situations more clearly, especially during the important stages of the match. Finally, a mentally strong player understands that improving in Tennis Clash takes time and there will be setbacks and uncontrollable factors like server connection problems, phone calls, noisy environment, etc. The only thing we can control is our attitude and how we overcome obstacles. As previously mentioned, to be a mentally strong Tennis Clash player, you need to know what to focus on throughout a match and be able to block out any distraction. Receiving phone calls or notifications can have a significant impact on the way a game plays out, especially if you are not prepared for these little surprises. Additionally, the impact of a noisy environment or other people talking to you at the same time can significantly impact a player's ability if they are not able to block out these distractions. Many of these distractions are uncontrollable, so no matter how much planning you put into your game, you cannot factor in these events. However, what you can plan for is your ability to work around them and enter your game as required. If possible, the best thing is still to play Tennis Clash only in a calm environment without anybody talking to you, after having set your phone on no disturb mode to mute all phone calls and notifications. There's not one thing about mental toughness that I can tell you that will make you get better right away, because mental toughness is very dependent on the situation. There's not a straight line to mental toughness, and there's a lot of things you have to do out of Tennis Clash before the match. You have to understand yourself and the physiology of your body under pressure. You have to try to learn tricks to counter the feelings you have when you are competing. You have to set goals for yourself. If you want to do anything in life with success, you have to set goals anyway. And it's the same thing in Tennis Clash. Decision making is incredibly important because it often dictates how the match is played. If during pressure situations you make the wrong decisions, it won't matter how accurate your strokes are or how fast you can swipe. Being able to clear the mental fog that comes with pressure in order to make the proper decisions during a match is massively important. We have all experienced playing a match where we were in full control, but we were unable to close it out, the good old choking. As the finish line gets closer and closer, the pressure increases and it can cloud our judgment. Our fingers can tremble a bit more, our wrists can shake a bit more, our swipes are less accurate, our heartbeat accelerates, our gameplay quality declines. All of us experience this at one point. The key is to learn from those experiences in order to make better decisions in the future. It goes without saying that maintaining a positive attitude through adversity is incredibly important for developing mental strength. In Tennis Clash, losing is as much part of the game as winning. Everybody can beat anybody in this game, even with lower stats. I have already beaten top players global having higher stats, and I have already been defeated by players having much lower trophies and lower stats. Therefore, players need to look to learn from every match. Sometimes your opponent has a better day, while you are not on good form, and there's nothing you can do. But if you give 100% during each match, you can be proud of yourself. On top of that, pay attention to what you did well and what you can improve on, so you can work appropriately next time you enter a tour. Mental strength and toughness are hard. It is something you need to work on as hard as you work on your swipe or on your automatic reflexes or strategy. Yet, a lot of us don't put in as much work into our minds as we should. Pressure, negative emotions, lack of confidence, all those things affect us differently as Tennis Clash players. And it can be scary to face those challenges because we are afraid of failure. It took me some time to mature into the Tennis Clash player I am today, and I'm still an average player. I had to find a better way to swipe on my Android phone because I had seen that it was not going fast enough with some builds. Being mentally tough is of course not enough to save match points. You need to swipe accurately and fast too, as I said in the beginning of this video. So if I could go back in time and give myself one piece of advice, it would be to work harder on my mental toughness early on in my Tennis Clash career. Right when I play in Tour 1, 2, 3, etc. You won't become mentally stronger simply by watching this video without training. But I hope you will feel compelled to put more work on improving your mental toughness. I guarantee it will be beneficial when you need to come back in Tennis Clash matches. Every Tennis Clash match play provides the player with countless opportunities to learn and ultimately improve his overall game. Reflection is a key part of any sport, and being able to learn from your previous matches is the best way to improve your game. I often make post-match analysis, watching my defeats on my laptop and try to see how and why I lost. That's easier because I record all matches that I play, but you can watch the replays of your matches directly in Tennis Clash too. They might just be a bit less accurate and are not available for a long time after you have finished playing. Every match has to have a winner and a loser. However, despite the result, being able to learn from your experiences is the best way to improve the mental side of your game. This is especially true when you start playing Tennis Clash. You should focus on the process rather than the outcome, and will often learn more about your game from a tough defeat than an easy victory. Good luck for your future comebacks, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support, and see you soon on Gameplay 365. Bye bye.